In 2018, the world learned of a young American's fatal encounter with one of Earth's last uncontacted tribes. Allen Chau, a 26-year-old adventurer and devout Christian, set his sights on North Sentinel Island, a small, densely forested island in the Bay of Bengal. This island, a mere speck in the vast ocean, is home to the Sentinelese, a tribe that has fiercely resisted contact with the outside world for centuries. Driven by a potent mix of religious zeal and adventurous spirit, Chau aimed to make contact with the Sentinelese. He envisioned converting them to Christianity, bringing them what he perceived as the light of God. His mission was illegal, foolhardy, and as the world would soon learn, deadly. Chau's quest ended tragically on the shores of North Sentinel Island, where he was killed by the very people he sought to befriend. The incident sent shockwaves through the global community, sparking a fierce debate about cultural preservation, the limits of exploration, and the ethical responsibilities we bear towards isolated populations. Chau's death served as a stark reminder of the potential consequences of disregarding the laws and customs that protect such vulnerable communities. It also highlighted the profound gulf that can exist between cultures and the tragic misunderstandings that can arise when those differences are not respected. The Sentinelese are shrouded in an enigma woven from isolation and time. Their language, customs, and beliefs remain largely unknown to the outside world. What little we do know is gleaned from infrequent and often tense encounters. They are believed to be hunter-gatherers, living off the bounty of the sea and the fruits of their island forest. The Indian government has declared North Sentinel Island a protected area, strictly prohibiting any attempts at contact. This policy is rooted in a deep respect for the Sentinelese's right to self-determination and a recognition of their vulnerability to diseases to which they have no immunity. The Sentinelese, in their isolation, have developed no resistance to common pathogens that are often benign to outsiders. Contact, however well-intentioned, carries with it the very real risk of decimating the Sentinelese population. The Indian government's policy is not one of forced isolation but rather a protective measure, a shield against the potentially devastating consequences of contact. It is a recognition of the Sentinelese's right to exist on their own terms, free from the intrusions of the outside world. Chau's determination to reach the Sentinelese bordered on obsession. He paid local fishermen to ferry him close to the island, evading patrols by the Indian Coast Guard. He came bearing gifts, fish, trinkets, a football, tokens of friendship that were met with hostility. The Sentinelese made it abundantly clear that he was not welcome. Undeterred, Chau pressed on. He waded ashore, shouting greetings and singing Christian hymns. He attempted to communicate through gestures and smiles. His efforts were futile. The Sentinelese responded with a language he didn't understand, the language of arrows and hostility. His persistence was tragically misguided. He failed to grasp the fundamental principle of respecting another culture's right to self-determination. He approached the Sentinelese with the assumption that his worldview was inherently superior, that his desire to convert them was a form of salvation. His actions, despite their purportedly benevolent intent, were a form of cultural aggression, a disregard for the Sentinelese's right to exist on their own terms. In the aftermath of Chau's death, Indian authorities arrested the fishermen who had aided him. They were charged with abetting his illegal entry into a protected area. The fishermen argued that they were merely following Chau's instructions and were unaware of the potential consequences. They claimed to be innocent pawns in Chau's ill-conceived crusade. The court, however, held them accountable. They were found guilty and sentenced to prison. The court's decision underscored the seriousness of the offense. The message was clear: the protection of the Sentinelese is paramount, and any attempt to breach that protection, even indirectly, will be met with the full force of the law. The case of Allen Chau and the Sentinelese is a complex tapestry of cultural misunderstanding, legal transgression, and ultimately tragedy. It serves as a cautionary tale, a stark reminder of the importance of respecting cultural boundaries and the delicate balance that must be struck between exploration and preservation. It is a tragic lesson learned on a remote island, a lesson that continues to resonate long after the waves have washed away the footprints in the sand.